Sparkly salutations! I've been having a lot of fun with nail stamping recently, and I decided to make a video about it so that I can share my new joy and maybe help you start stamping awesome stuff onto your nails too. If you don't know what nail stamping is, it's pretty much like it sounds. You put some polish over an etched design, pick it up with a squishy thing, and then stamp it onto your nail using the squishy thing. Doing it is a little harder than it sounds, but it just takes a bit of practice, and it's definitely easier than freehand painting to get a cool design, so I recommend giving it a shot. To do stamping art, you'll need some things that you probably already have, and also some things you almost definitely do not have unless this isn't your first stamping rodeo. You'll need a stamping plate with etched designs, a stamper to pick up the designs, some opaque nail polish, either regular polish or specific stamping polish, some sort of scraping card, and then cotton pads or balls or whatever it is you want to use. It can also be helpful to have some scotch tape, a small brush that you can dip in acetone, a nail art brush to touch up designs if you need to, and if you want to get fancy, then a peel-off base coat can also be useful. Something to note about stamping plates is that they'll almost definitely come with a sheer blue film on them. That helps the plate not get scratched up while it ships to you, but it also prevents you from using it to stamp while it's on there because the film is covering the etching, so you have to peel that off or else nothing is going to happen. Your stamper will probably also need to be prepared a little bit before you can use it, and hopefully it came with some instructions for you. The usual thing is to pop out the squishy bit and put it in some water with dish soap, and also use some scotch tape to just kind of tap across the top, and that helps get rid of like oils or something, and then it'll pick up the nail polish a lot better. The first step is to prepare your nails by doing whatever you want as your base. So I actually painted my nails several days ago, but if you're going to be doing your painting and stamping on the same day, I definitely recommend using a quick dry top coat so that you don't mess up the nail polish when you do your stamping. Once your nails are ready, grab the stamping plate you want to use and also the polish you want to stamp with. So like I said before, there are polishes that are specifically made for stamping, but you can also just use opaque nail polish sometimes. Not all polishes seem to play well with stamping, so it might take some experimenting and whatever, but you don't necessarily need to buy specific stamping polishes. You could just use polishes that you already have. When you're painting the polish onto your plate, you don't actually need to cover your entire design with polish. Just put enough on so that when you do your scrape, it will drag the rest of the extra polish over the entire design and the whole thing will get covered. The polish won't be usable for very long here, so once you've scraped, you need to quickly but gently use your stamper to pick up the polish, line it up where you want the design, and get it onto your nail. You can sort of roll the stamper if it's too large to pick up in just an up and down kind of motion. It's probably hard to tell how much pressure I'm using based on just the video, but you basically just want to touch it as very gently as you possibly can, because if you push too hard, it won't actually pick up the polish, and you also might mess up the squishy stamper. You don't need to be quite as gentle once you're putting it onto your nail, but when you're picking it up, you definitely want to be as light-handed as you can. Once the design is on the stamper, you can use a piece of tape to quickly lift off any parts of a design you don't want, or any neighboring designs that got partially picked up. If your stamper is clear like the ones I have, you can easily tell where the design will end up on your nail, and you should be able to get it pretty much exactly where you want it to be. There are other stampers that aren't clear, and I don't actually know how to effectively use those. These ones are a lot more convenient, so if you're getting into stamping, I definitely recommend getting a stamper that you can see through. If you aren't happy with the results after you've picked up your design, you can look at it and decide, I don't really want to use it on my nail, and just kind of stamp it somewhere else. I usually put my failed stamps on the back of my hand. It's important to clean all the polish off the plate before trying to use that design again, so if your first attempt didn't work out or you want to use that same design, put acetone on a cotton thing of your choice and wipe down the plate. Regular nail polish remover won't work as well because of the filler ingredients, so if you're going to do nail stamping, it's definitely worth buying a bottle of pure acetone. Just please be careful with it. Depending on the shape and size of your nails and what design you're using, some things just won't fully fit on your nails. There are some designs that obviously won't fit on a single nail or that are meant to be an all-over pattern, but sometimes your nail is just too small for a design that might be able to fit completely on a different nail. For this big ornament here, I'd probably just center it and accept that the design will extend past where my nail stops. This super long broomstick is longer than any nails I've ever seen in real life, and I think it's meant to be stamped in sections across multiple nails. Personally, my nails are curved and also a bit narrow, especially on my pinky. My thumbnail is quite a bit wider, so it's easier to get a big design to show up on here than it is over here. I have to plan for that when I'm choosing what to stamp and where. These cake slices here are definitely a lot wider than my pinky nail is, but the chocolate bar should be able to fit okay, so I'll use that one on my pinky. It helps that these nails are kind of long. It'd be a lot harder to get full designs to show up on my right hand because the nails over here are a lot shorter. Some designs are meant to be sort of layered or assembled, so if you're doing that, definitely be as precise as you can with your placement. On this plate, I would use a yellow for this banana part and black for that banana part, so that when I stamped them together, I would have a fully filled in and also outlined banana. You could also stamp the same design in a second color right next to where the first stamp was to give it sort of a 3D or shadowy effect. If your design is just an outline and you want to color it in, there are a couple of ways to do that. You could very carefully color it in after it's stamped on your nail, and maybe carefully stamp the outline again on top to cover up any mistakes if you need to. Or you could color it in while it's still on your stamper. That's called reverse stamping, and it doesn't need quite as much precision because the outline color will be on top of the other colors you're using. The trouble with coloring the stamp is that it's easy for the polish to dry while it's still on the stamper, and then it won't really come off onto your nail very well. To fix that, you can put some peel-off base coat over your polish, let it dry, and then you can take your time coloring in the stamp before applying it. The peel-off base coat will grab onto the design. I learned that trick from the comments of one of Kelly Marissa's stamping videos. Top coat is a good idea in general, but you definitely need to put top coat over your nail if you use this method so that the peely base doesn't cause problems. If you want to try reverse stamping but don't have a peel-off base coat, I think there's also a way to do it using top coat. You can put top coat over the design while it's on the stamper, peel it off, and then basically apply it like a nail decal or something. If I remember correctly, you can also put the top coat on your nail and wait for it to dry to the point of being tacky, and then it should grip onto the polish on your stamper. But I haven't personally tried either of those methods because I do have peel-off base coat, and it seems a lot harder to mess it up that way. I first started trying out stamping just a couple of months ago, so I'm still pretty new at it. It definitely took some practice to figure out how much pressure to use, but now that I can somewhat reliably get stamps to turn out right, I'm super excited about all of the cool things I can stamp onto my nails. If you've decided that stamping is something you want to try for yourself, there are a couple of reliable brands to look into. I have some plates from Beauty, Born Pretty, and Maniology. So far, Maniology is my favorite. They have tons of colors of stamping polish I want to try, and also a lot of really fun plates. Not to sound too much like an ad, but they do have a referral program, so if you want to buy something from Maniology, you can use my link that I'll have in the description to save $5. I'll also get $5 off my next order from them if you do, but this isn't the kind of link where I'll get paid based on how much anyone spends there or whatever, because my channel is way too small for that. Anyway, I hope this was interesting and maybe helpful for you. A lot of people who used to get their nails done at salons have probably, or at least hopefully, started doing their nails at home instead this year. Nail art can seem intimidating, especially if you're not great at painting or drawing. Thankfully, there's not really any artistic skill needed to make stamping work, which is a big part of why I love it so much. You can even get cool nail art on your dominant hand without much more effort. And unlike stickers and nail vinyls, you can use a stamping plate for pretty much forever. Basically, stamping is awesome and I wish I'd tried it earlier. Thank you for watching! Let me know if you enjoy nail content, and if so, please share suggestions for other nail videos you'd like to see. Stay safe and keep social distancing as much as possible.